In the 70s, man, singer Al Green was the man. They say a lot of babies were made off his music. Songs like So Tired of Being Alone, I'm Still in Love with You, Love and Happiness, How Could You Mend a Broken Heart, and everybody's favorite, Let's Stay Together, would make him a sex symbol for women and an international music pop star in the 70s. Women would follow him town to town, and in Memphis, they say 208 women petitioned for him not to get married after they heard rumors that he was planning to settle down and marry somebody. Money and success also bought him a 21-room mansion in Memphis, Tennessee, surrounded by an electric fence and with acres of land and farms and animals on it. August 31st was made Al Green Day, and he was handed the keys to the city of Memphis by the mayor. He was selling out concerts around the world, loved by screaming fans. But see, being a ladies' man though, sometimes can get you in a lot of trouble. I mean, Al Green would have 2 to 3 girls come over, and then there's 3 to 4 girls more coming over to party with him. But there was one lady that would change his life forever and make him give up that lifestyle. Now, Mary Elizabeth Evans was born in Oxford, North Carolina. At the age of 16, she married her high school sweetheart and ended up having 2 kids. But see, that marriage didn't last long, and she ended up getting divorced. Now, during that time, life became rough for Mary, and she tried to commit suicide after taking a bunch of pills and had to have her stomach pumped. Also during that time, she shot one of her boyfriends in the foot after he admitted he cheated on her. Years later, she met another man named Raymond Woodson and got married again and moved to New Jersey, having her 3rd child. Now see, Mary Woodson, right, she was a beautiful woman from head to toe, always dressed nice, and she had the ability to walk in a room and all eyes would be on her. She knew she was a beautiful lady and would always use her sex appeal to attract famous musicians. Now one day, while going to see a friend who was in prison, she saw Al Green, who was doing a concert for the prisoners at the New York State Prison at the time. Al Green was so mesmerized that he just couldn't keep his eyes off of her. After the concert, he asked her to come back to the hotel with him, but she turned down the offer. But she needed a ride back, and he gave her a ride in his limo. Now see, Al wasn't used to being rejected because he would have a girl in every town he would perform. But Al was on a mission though to win Mary over. She wasn't like any of the other women he was used to. In his mind, he saw real women. She didn't hound him or sweat him like all the other girls did. He just loved her stunning beauty, and there was just a mystery about her that he liked. I mean, but there was a couple signs about her he did see, but he blew it off, like her moody ways and the way she stared off into the distance like she was listening to somebody else in her head. Now see, Al and Mary would spend hours on the phone talking, and he would try to impress her by inviting her to fly out to concerts with him. And she would go, but they never had sex. Days later, after meeting up again in Memphis, they finally became intimate, and afterwards they began to talk, and Al asked her about her life. But Mary lied to him and said she'd never been married and she didn't have any kids. And another thing she didn't tell Al Green was she was also seeing a psychiatrist. But the truth was she had 3 kids and was married, and her husband was in town from New Jersey trying to bring her back home, but she refused and wanted to be with Al Green. Now see, later that night, right, she was arrested for smoking weed, and Al Green went and got her from the police station and brought her to the studio. Now, while at that studio, another woman friend named Carlotta, who was the flight attendant he became good friends with, had popped up at his house, which made Mary angry. So Al, sensing Mary wasn't happy, decided to leave the studio and take both Mary and Carlotta to his house to relax because he was tired. Now see, Al became worried when Mary sat in that back seat of the car, quiet the whole time, with a crazy look on her face. Now, when they got to his house, the other girl, Carlotta, knew something wasn't right and asked Al Green to be shown to her room right away, saying that she had an early flight the next morning. Now, once in the house, right, and after making sure Carlotta was good, Al Green went to check on Mary, who was in his kitchen, boiling hot water in a big pot with a wooden spoon at the stove. She asked Al, did he ever think about getting married? And he responded saying, let's talk about this in the morning. But then Al asked her, what are you cooking? And Mary responded saying, I would never do anything to hurt you. Now scared and worried, Al went to take a shower, and after the shower, while brushing his teeth, naked looking in the mirror, Mary walked in behind him with that steaming pot in both hands. After adding grits to the water, making a thick, boiling hot, sticky paste, with all her strength, she threw it at him, splashing the bathroom walls and scorching his naked back, arms, and abdomen, and then she ran. The pain was so intense, he started screaming in pure agony. From all of the screaming, the other girl, Carlotta, ran out of her room and grabbed Al. She put him in the tub, turned on the cold water in the shower to see if that would help ease the pain, but it didn't, because by that time, the blisters began bubbling on his burnt flesh. Every time she would try to wipe off the grits, layers of skin would peel off. Now, while Al and Carlotta are in the bathroom, they heard 2 shots go off. Now, also remember, Al Green had security guards in his house as well. Al claimed after hearing the shots, he jumped up with his back bleeding and all to see what was going on and found Mary on the floor in the bedroom with a gunshot wound above her right ear with the gun in her hand. 2 suicide notes was later found in her purse. More than 2 hours had passed before they decided to call the police for reasons nobody can explain why they waited so long. And at the hospital, the cops would question Al Green while he was trying to recover from his injuries. At first, they didn't believe him because at the scene, 3 bullets from 2 different guns was recovered. But later, police say 1 bullet was removed from Mary's body. The second bullet probably was a courage shot Mary fired before she killed herself. And the third bullet, according to Al Green a week before, while cleaning his gun, it accidentally went off in the same room they found Mary's body. Now, after passing a polygraph test and his friend Carlotta Williams and the bodyguards backing him up with the same story, the case was ruled a suicide. She was 29 years old. R.I.P. Mary Woodson.